What up players, it's Woboss Tail up in this mud. So today I want to do a tutorial on something that's been a topic that I wanted to get to for a long time. That's how I do some of my vials. Now vials are a little bit different depending on what kind of model you're painting them on. So I'm going to show you how I paint the vials for Festus here. But there are also different techniques, I guess you could say, for painting them on characters such as a Space Marine Apothecary or a or like a Dark Eldar, or one of the Racks or Grotesques that have all those vials on their backs. Well, this one is kind of similar to it. So the paints that you're going to need are some kind of black paint. First of all, I've got Chaos Black here. You can also use Abaddon Black. You're also going to need, for us, we're going to be doing this green kind of disgusting, gross liquid. So we're going to use Warpstone Glow, Moot Green, and Averlin Sunset. And when you put them in a line, you're going to see that the greens kind of fade up to this yellow color. So that's kind of how we're going to go about highlighting it. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take your black and you're going to paint your vial completely. Now if you're doing something like, say, a glass of beer or a what you call that, an hourglass for an Empire State Trooper, then, or a bottle of beer, not a glass, then what you would do is use a lighter color. But because this is an evil character, we want the green to pop out more against all this business that is Festus. We are going to use black as the base for our glass. Now what you're going to do next is take the base color. Again, we're going to start with Warpstone Glow, but you could really use like any color as long as you've got 3 highlights for it. And you are going to paint the bottom just to about, like, say, halfway. Now what you also want to keep in mind is what angle is the bottle sitting at. If it's leaning a certain way, the liquid will be sloshing a certain way. So we don't want to do... You want to just make sure that the way that the model is standing, the angle is correct. And, oh hey, why not? Why don't we also do... So to demonstrate, I'm going to show you painting a vial of liquid that is what we'll call upright, and then also one that is turning, like the one that he's holding. So this is what I mean. We want to paint, and because Warpstone Glow is it's not a foundation color, it's a layer paint. So what that means is that it's going to be a little bit thinner, and you can see it's already starting to streak a little bit because I added some water to it. So that just means you're going to have to use multiple layers, or what you can also do is you can also mix in a little bit of a darker green base. So why don't we try that? I've got Wa Flesh, but more appropriately you would use Caliban Green. I just can't seem to find it. So as a foundation color though, Wa Flesh is going to have that thickness that you are looking for. So let's just mix it onto the model. And you can see it spreads really well. Yeah, there's nothing actually coming out of it, so you won't need to put any at the lip of it for our Festus model. So I'm just gonna go back over with some Chaos Black for that. If there's actual liquid sculpted, like it was flowing out, then we could paint that, but it looks like he's just kind of tipping it back after pouring it into this poor guy right over here. So while we're letting that dry, we're going to do a little bit of moot green. Now what we're doing with the moot green is we're going to highlight a thin line across the upper area near the top. So it kind of draws the eye towards the top of the liquid. And finally, we're going to add Everland Sunset. We're going to do the same thing with this, but this one is going to be even thinner, and we're just going to see if we can go right across the top. And that is about it. What you want to do now is you're gonna let the liquid part of your vial dry, and looking through the camera, it looks like I can tidy up the bottom area. Ooh, going upside down, Festus. Hold on. We're going to tidy up the bottom of the area by adding a highlight to the actual glass. So I'm going to highlight using Celestra Gray because we're using black, which is, you know, the other side of the spectrum from light. If we were using something like the Fang or the old Shadow Gray, which is how I learned to do glass, then we could do it a little bit differently. But all I'm doing is I'm taking my Celestra Gray and I'm painting a thin line down the side. The good thing about, one of the good things about Chaos Black is it's such a glossy black. I think Abaddon Black is too, but because of that you can really see where the light catches it, and it'll really help you out when you're painting your vials. You can see I did it on the back here too. Okay, that one. So we're just painting like a little reflective sheen, Charlie Sheen, off of the vials. Take it all the way to the bottom if you want. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing now for the big vial. Starting with Warpstone Glow, we're painting from the bottom. Then we're going to add Moot Green. Near the top. It's kind of wet blending together because I'm not waiting for the paint to dry. And if you're wet blending like this, just like I said in my wet blending tutorial, just keep feathering the color out so it doesn't get too splotchy. And you know what, I think I'm going to wait just a bit before adding the Everland Sunset. After the Everland Sunset, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Celestra Gray and continue to paint the shine at the bottom, and I'll show you how to make bubbles too. Be back in just a second. Okay, so we're back. Sorry, little jump in the time-space continuum for a second there. Paint up some warpstone glow here and here. We're going to take our moot green now, and I'm just going to add a little bit more to the moot green that we just put up there. So you get that effect. Then I'm going to take Ireland Sunset. We're going to do our fine line at the top. What we're also going to do is we're going to take little dots of Ireland Sunset and we're going to add bubbles. So you want to make sure that your brush tip, the paint is just on the very tip. You don't want too much of it there. And all you're going to do is paint little zigzag dots from, let's go from here. Focus, yeah. The reason you don't want too much is because you don't want it to make a big puddle of paint. You just want to almost lightly dust it on. And if it gets too heavy, then just go back to the base color and clean up around it. In this case, Warpstone Glow. Just kind of like that. That is pretty cool. Okay, now that it's just about done, we're going to take our Celestial Gray again. Celestial Gray, and just paint a really, really thin line down the bottom of it. To suggest the reflection, and then down here, down the side. Like that. So you almost make like a T at the top point. You can kind of see it looks like a T. Forte. That's everything life should be. Last, we're gonna take some art coat. I've got the old gloss varnish, but it's basically the same thing, or any kind of gloss varnish that you have, really. And you are going to seal all of your vials. Just paint it right on. And when that dries, voila, you have cool looking vials with liquid inside. So like I said, the green was really my choice, but you just find 3 different colors. If you're doing like blood or plasma or any other kind of color, you would just take the 3 highlighted colors. So with red, it could be like corn red, Mephiston red, Evil Sun scarlet, and then build to like a white, or you can even go up to a yellow if you want. With blue, it would be, gosh, I don't even know the blue colors, but they all have elf names. So just experiment, be creative, and do whatever works. I like the bubbles. Thanks for watching, everybody!